One of the devices we use every day. So for example, when you're using your keyboard and you're typing with all your fingers, or when you're using mobile devices. We also notice that things like mobile devices with styluses, or maybe mobile devices that rely on a touch screen, are actually really difficult to use when it's cold outside and you've got a glove on. So we came up with 4 different gesture sets that we wanted to look at. The first one, called lift, is looking at whether your hand's resting on a table, or whether you're lifting one of your 5 fingers off the table. In general, the way we collected data is how you see what's going on the screen here. So somebody rests their hand on the table, they have the sensors on their arm, like I showed you put them on in the last slide, and they respond to what the computer tells them to do. So lift one finger, and they lift that finger. In addition to this lift gesture, we also looked at another 5-finger gesture, where it's more like typing on a keyboard. So instead of holding a finger and lifting it in the air, you'll see he's tapping just really quickly on the table, sort of like what you do on a keyboard. Also, when you interact on a keyboard, you don't just tap your finger in one position. The difference between typing an H key and a Y key is actually pushing down in a curled or extended position. You can see our graphics have curled with a little funny. My finger doesn't quite work that way. All 3 of those gestures actually require a lot of movement. We wanted to look at also some more invisible gestures. So here what he's doing is pushing on the table with different amounts of pressure with the index and middle finger. So he's either pressing hard, or pressing lightly. So pressing lightly you can think of as pressing hard enough to dent a tomato, or he's pressing hard, which you can think of as pressing hard enough to break the skin of a tomato. And what we wanted to do is see if we could have one of these gestures where your hands aren't necessarily moving, they're just kind of sitting on the table. But you might be able to provide input just with these different level of pressures with your different fingers. So we have 4 of these